How did you get started in your podcast journey? I get asked this question so often, and I love telling my version of the story where it's like, oh, I was a stay-at-home mom, and then I decided to share my message. And it's all the motivational speeches that you've probably heard me say over and over again, right? But the true thing that I love to talk about is whenever I decided to take my idea of just sharing a message and starting a podcast and actually turn it into a business. Because without specific pieces of the puzzle in place, I would absolutely not be where I am today in my journey with Profit Media and the things that we're doing behind the scenes. I have so much of that to owe to B School. So B School is a program led by Marie Forleo, who if you've never heard of her, please go look her up immediately. She has the spunkiest personality and she just knows her stuff when it comes to marketing. And we did our annual survey recently. So many of you are telling me that you are struggling with marketing and you don't know the next steps to take your awesome idea for content and turn it into an actual business. So if that's you, if you're nodding along and you're like, yeah, I need help with marketing. I need help taking what I'm piecing together right now and turn it into an actual business. I want you to join us in B School because you can learn so much so fast from Marie, but also you're going to have accountability from me. This is another thing I hear often is people are like, I have all of these ideas and all of these tasks that I know I need to do. My to-do list is 7 miles long, but how do I actually know in what order to do them or the next best thing for me and my business? That's where I come in. Let me help you. Let me coach you. Let me encourage you on those days where you just aren't sure. So go to crystalprofit.com/B School to learn all about our exclusive bonuses, from all the coaching and support that you'll receive in our private community, to access to my program, Radical Repurposing, to even getting a business audit. If you're like, I have no idea what I'm doing, where do I even start? Let me take a look at your business and the pieces of the puzzle you're trying to get together, and let me help you. Again, go to crystalprofit.com/B School to learn more. But don't wait, because enrollment for this session closes on February 28th. So again, go to crystalprofit.com/B School to learn more. Okay, let's get into today's episode. So we've made a few pretty big decisions around here at Profit Media in the last few months. And I think that you've noticed because we have gotten emails and kind of like questions around like, hey, we noticed you've changed some tools and your platforms have switched. Why did you do it? And actually, I'm going to give a shout out to Cathy. So Cathy is one of our community members and she hosts the Caregiver Cup podcast. And she specifically reached out to me and was like, hey, we noticed that you switched over to Mighty Networks from Kajabi, and I kind of want to know, like, why? Like, what's actually happening there? Is there a specific reason? Was it price? And I told her, I was like, ooh, let me brainstorm on this, and then I'll dive into the details further, which is exactly what we're doing today. And I'm going to go through not only why we switched and what happened, but also I'm going to answer some of Cathy's specific questions over like, well, what are some of the benefits that you're seeing? And she personally uses Kajabi herself. So she's wondering like, what's the transition time? Like, what does that actually look like? And then is it user-friendly, customer support, all the things, right? She had so many questions. And so Cathy, this episode is dedicated to you. Thank you so much for asking these questions, because I think that many people have these questions and considerations whenever they're switching platforms or considering thinking about going somewhere else to be more budget conscious or to be, have a better support system for their students or their members. And I'm really excited to dive in because I've been thinking about this episode for a long time, and we're going to get into the nitty-gritty on why I switched from Kajabi to Mighty Networks. So let's get right to it. Welcome to the Profit Podcast, where we teach you how to start, launch, and market your content with confidence. I'm your host, Crystal Profit, and I'm so excited that you're here. Thanks for hanging out with me today, because if you've been trying to figure out the world of content creation, this is the show that will help be your time-saving shortcut. So let's get right to it, shall we? Welcome back to another episode. If we have not met before, hello, I am Crystal Profit. I am your podcast coach and content strategist. And this episode, like I said at the introduction, has been a long time coming because I've been playing around with Mighty Networks and trying to decide for myself, like, was this the right move, right? Like, we get a little nervous when we make those decisions. It's like, did I make the right call? And I can tell you before we even dive into answering Cathy's questions or getting into the details of everything, yes, yes, and yes. And I'll just tell you high level why I truly believe so. For the first time in my entire coach journey, working with people one-on-one, having digital products, I am actually in conversations with my people, with my customers, people that have invested with me, even people that haven't invested with me. Like, we have a free membership. It's called Podcasters Connect that people can join for free and never have to pay us a dime. Then we also have the premium version for our VIP members that want monthly coaching, or they want to pay in full and then have some of the benefits of our annual members. And so I'm in real conversation every single day. Every single day. This was the thing that I was really missing by having Kajabi. Sure, we could have, comments underneath, like the different lessons inside my program, Profit Podcasting, or people could send me an email. They could reach out that way. But this actually feels like real-time exchanges with people that I just did not realize how much I was missing that. Because the big thing, and I'll get into the actual details, is social media is so distracting for me. I love a Facebook group, but also I tiptoe into Facebook okay, I'm only going to go to this one Facebook group and then I'm going to get out of there. And it's just too distracting. There's way too many things people I went to high school with pop up in my feed and I'm like, oh, what's going on in their lives? Or one of my cousins posts something. It's just not what that connection is really for. So I have to, and I've actually heard from several of my students, is that's the same thing happens to them. It's like there's a squirrel, too many things going on. But in our Mighty Networks community, we're able to have real conversations about what we came together for, and that's podcasting. So that's the big, in a nutshell, if you'd hit pause, don't hear anything else in this entire episode today, those are my big takeaways, but I do want to get into some of Cathy's specific questions, and I've kind of, zhuzhed them up a little bit to really apply to an even broader audience. So the first one is why? Why did we move? Well, there was a few things that really wasn't working with Kajabi that we were hitting some clear pain points, very specific things, and some of them were the limited community building features. So Kajabi itself has platform, it has communities, but it just didn't work well. It's it was separated. It's segmented out. It's oh, you can build this community and this community is a thing. And it kind of operates like a Facebook group, but it's not integrated into the same screen. The user experience wasn't just, I could log into one place and boom, everything that I owned from this one company was right there. It was oh no, here's all of your products, but then also you got to log in here, you got to do this thing, and then you got to go here. And it's it was too complicated for me, myself as a user, that I never used anyone's Kajabi community. So I have attended events like Craft and Commerce last year, and this is when I actually used Mighty Networks as a user. I was really aware of the company. I also met Gina. So she's actually the founder of Mighty Networks. I met her at Craft and Commerce in 2024, and I was super intrigued by all the cool things that she's doing. And I just got okay, this is cool. I like this. This is different. It's made for events, but I never even thought about using it for products. I didn't think it was a competitor to Kajabi. But again, going back to the community aspect, they focus on that so much. And that's something that I was missing in being a Kajabi user. Let me preface all of this to say I've used Kajabi since 2019. And I mean, I've been a user for a long time. I've been a customer for a really long time, and I've used it in other capacities. So the other thing that I was really limited on are the engagement pieces. So with Mighty Networks, they recently rolled out, it's like they're gamifying things. And I think this is super fun. You can actually log in and you can see like, oh, I have a 17-day streak of logging into this platform. And I just think that's really fun because people are like, oh, that's cool. It's kind of like Duolingo, right? Y'all have seen like the streaks that you can get on Duolingo. My son was doing Spanish forever. And he was like, Mom, I just got to do it every day. Every day he's got to get that like little ping, like ding, and it's like, oh, okay, like I hit my streak. I just did a little bit today, but at least I got my streak. Like I'm keeping it going. So I think that is really fun to have that engagement interaction tools. And that's something that I didn't have on Kajabi. The other one is feeling like everything was just super separated and siloed and not integrated. So this was another big piece for me. I felt like it was a little disjointed in how Kajabi had everything set up. And again, it just wouldn't work for what we were planning to do with Podcasters Connect and the way that we have it set up today. I'm really happy for it. So where I saw opportunities with Mighty Networks, where Kajabi really didn't just fill that need for me, was the collaboration piece, like being able to log into one screen. I can interact with my users. I can actually see like all the products that I have. So if I were a customer, then I could see like, okay, there's my digital courses, my digital products that I own for Profit Media. Oh, there's the community aspect. Oh, here's where I can submit for a content audit. Here's our group coaching. It's just all integrated and not so discombobulated and disjointed. And that's one thing that I know that I've gotten really good feedback from the community members that they love too. The other piece is the engagement tools. Again, for events, there's group chats, there's a feed where we have all our fun like GIFs and memes that we share. We can do polls and questions, and it's just really a fun way to be engaged. Again, about your topic. So this is where it differs from like having Kajabi in a Facebook group, because that's what I did have for a really, really long time. And those things weren't integrated together. The other piece is just a place to streamline all the community discussions and course content to where I can say in Mighty Networks, hey, here's this one thing about this specific topic or this specific module, and here's the link to it. You could do that on Facebook and hope that all of it works. But again, they click on that link and then they got to go somewhere else and they got to make sure they're logged in. It's just from a user experience wasn't great. So all of that to say, that is like in a nutshell why we moved to Mighty Networks. Now, let's talk about the benefits. So the big features that we're using the community groups. I think I kind of already said this already, but Podcasters Connect is a membership. I also have, I moved all of my digital products, everything over. So I host every single thing that we offer, from the Ultimate Podcast Launch Toolkit. We have 1 year of podcast content in 1 hour. We have all of our, from low ticket to high ticket offers, like profit podcasting, to our bonus offerings that we have for affiliate programs. Everything is in Mighty Networks. And I love the simplicity of having it there, because that's one of the benefits. They can house your cohort groups. It can house your digital products, your courses, like whatever you want to have in there, which I think is really awesome. But you can also do live events. So you could host live events and schedule that there. So it's all native within the platform. It has a Zoom integration. So whenever I do our monthly coaching calls, I schedule everything in Mighty Networks. And because it's connected to Zoom, everything is all integrated and hosted. And this is the part that I love. People can RSVP right in the platform. And then whenever it's time, like we're going live, it actually shows like a live button. So if somebody's in there and then your event starts, it's like, oh, wait, I can click on that because it's live now. So again, if you host events, maybe in-person events, or maybe you're doing webinars, maybe you're doing multi-day summits, like any of those things, it could be really cool to have everything segmented out in your events to use on Mighty Networks. So I'm just going to continue to sell them. I know I should have said this earlier. I am a proud partner and affiliate of Mighty Networks. I was an affiliate for Kajabi for many, many years. Now I'm an affiliate for Mighty Networks. And you can go to crystalprofit.com/mighty to learn more. But I am just really excited about all of this because the integrations are awesome. The communication with members, like not just in the feeds, but direct messages. Like I'm in the DMs all the time with my members. That just did not happen because let's be really honest, right? If you had Kajabi and you had Facebook, you had a Facebook group, people sending me DMs, like it almost felt like a violation of like my personal bubble. It really did. Like when you send me a Facebook message and I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, let's keep that at a distance. That's like reserved for, it just gets awkward or it gets lost in all of those random messages that you get, right? It like has all those message requests. Like it just gets lost in there. And I feel bad whenever I go and I finally sift through them and I see, oh my gosh, 3 of my students were trying to reach out to me through Facebook Messenger. And it's just, I don't have to deal with any of that anymore because I just say, hey, send me a DM in Mighty Networks, and it happens. They send me a DM, and I get to them, and I get back to someone within 24 hours of them getting a message to me. So it's pretty incredible that we can use that feature and have that direct open line of contact between our audience. So that's one of the biggest ones that I'm super excited about. But the other one is just some of the other differences between the analytics that they have. So Mighty Networks, I like how I can go into my Mighty Insights and look at what's going on. I can see how many members we have, how active they are, if they're chatting, if they're engaging, if they're like talking to each other. And I haven't mentioned this yet, and I'm so excited because they make my life so much easier. They have so many AI integrations that I was sold whenever I saw all the ways that it was going to make my life easier. From I could click a button and then it can draft like a whole, like, hey, you want to create a course? Like here's a draft course, like boom, it's done. If you want to come up with questions to, I believe it's called like the unlimited question asker or something. I'll have to find out what the actual answer is, but it's like, they have come up with ideas for you to ask engagement questions to your community. So it's just that additional layer of support that allows you to really, really make those deeper connections because they want you to succeed. And I even use the ChatGPT integration for People Magic. So this is what Mighty Networks calls, like, this is like their branded version of how they want you to succeed. You can go check out their YouTube channel where it has like a whole People Magic series. I've watched it. I've watched their free trainings. I've watched their webinars. I already signed up for it before I watched all of these things. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's just additional things that we can do to educate ourselves on how to run successful memberships. And I'm actually going to link to, I want you to go check out, Gina did an interview with Nathan Barry from Kit. He's the founder of Kit, formerly ConvertKit, and they did an incredible conversation about memberships and how they can be successful. So definitely check out that resource. It's on YouTube. It's wherever you listen to podcasts. And I really want you to go check it out because it's, again, can help you run a successful membership or online business by focusing on your people. And again, that's like the running theme today, being in conversation, real conversations with your customers, not just fluffy things that you're talking about on social media. The other thing that I really love is it houses everything. Like, again, we've already talked about this, but I have popular content where I can tag it to the front. I have all of my monthly events that we have. We do content audits, we do group coaching, we do welcome parties every single month. So I can house all of that there. I can house all of my courses and all of my affiliate packages for things like B School, Time Genius, that both are Marie Forleo's programs that I support and I'm an affiliate for. So I have exclusive bonuses for those members. So It's very, very easy for me as a host to host all of these in one place, but also as a customer to have all of your stuff. Like you need one login, one time, remember it, and then that's all you have to have. Okay, so let's talk about transition, because this is the part that Cathy was like, how long did this take? What was your plan? And I have to tell you, I am a project manager. Like I love an Asana, like board. I love documenting things on like how this is going to be executed, put timelines together, work back from the finish date, like all of those things. I love it. So I want to just preface it with that. I'm a planner. I am a planner to a fault. So your transition, your timeline may look different. But ever since I decided, okay, I'm going to switch from Kajabi to Mighty Networks, I created what was a plan to be done by a specific date, because I did not want to be paying for two separate platforms, essentially. I wanted to have one platform be fully transitioned by this specific date, and then I work back from there. Okay, like, well, if we want to be done by that, and we want to move all of our products, all of our customers by that date, what do we need to do? I gave us about a 60-day window to make all of that happen. So there was a 1-month overlap where I was paying for both products, but that's okay. Like I was totally fine with just having that, being sunk costs that I would probably never get back. That's okay, because I knew in the long run, my customers would be happier, I would be happier, and it would make sense for me. So I remember I selected a date. Then I immediately communicated that to my audience, because I believe communication is key whenever you're doing any kind of big transitions. So if you are going to, migrate from one platform to the next, as soon as you know it's going to happen, even if you don't have that exact date, communicate it to your customers, and then communicate it again, and then one final time whenever that deadline is really approaching, because then they are more likely to adopt it and actually move over and migrate. And then you don't have this churn or this fall off of customers that just kind of went into the abyss and you never hear from them again. Another thing that I took into consideration is I exported everything from Kajabi before I made the move. I think that a lot of people don't think about doing this, but way before we were ever ready to transition over, I went in, I exported every single detail from my email list I had in Kajabi, from all of my transactions. And I'm so glad that I did, because I still go back to that export from time to time when people are like, hey, haven't checked in forever. I bought this program from you, and what do I do now? What's supposed to happen? So I go in, I triple check on that Excel file that I have, the Google Sheets, and I'm like, oh yeah, you did buy that program. Like, here it is. Here's how you log into Mighty Networks. So it's a lot easier on the back end processes to make that work and make it happen. So whenever you're thinking about transitions, communication is key. As soon as you know the date that you're going to transition, work back from that. But all in, I would say it was about a 60-day from when I decided that it was going to happen to having everyone migrated over and shutting down Kajabi. You could essentially do this in a weekend if you wanted to, but I like giving people that breathing room to, hey, change is coming. It gave me the opportunity to migrate everything over. I had, oh my goodness, now I'm really going to catch myself. I don't remember how many total digital products I had. I had a lot in Kajabi. Like I was almost maxed out with the digital products that I have. I want to say it was like 15, maybe. That was because I had some free resources that I was housing there that I wanted to have as like a free course for different affiliate launches that I did. So I deleted anything that I didn't need. And then I was like, okay, which of these do I need to migrate over? Because some of them were old. We need to do audits from time to time of our content. See, like, are we really using all this? Do we need all of this stuff? Do we have to migrate it over? Or can we just say, that was a beautiful thing while it lasted, now it's gone? Like if somebody didn't download that free resource from years ago, too bad, that's on them. Sorry, it's gone. Paid customers, different story. And when people reach out to me, I'm like, oh yes, immediately, here's your link to log into your Mighty Networks product. There you go. But I will say, like, it was really easy. And I reached out to Mighty Network's support team multiple times because it was a brand new platform to me. I was just like, I don't know what I'm doing. Can you please help me? And they have so many great help articles. They have YouTube videos, and their customer service was so responsive in helping me like understand like, oh, you need to do this to create your plan list and look at your member list. And this is how you need to set things up. So that was really helpful. And I'm excited that I did it. Like, again, no regrets. So grateful that I did it. Are there any challenges or opportunities? Of course, there's going to be things that didn't go well whenever you're doing these big migrations. The one I just talked about, like, I didn't know how to use, like, it was brand new. The learning curve was super frustrating. Anytime you're learning something new, because I don't know about y'all, I'm an Enneagram type 3, which is the overachiever. I think it's even called the achiever, but I just call myself the overachiever. So I went into this thinking, I'm going to pick this up 24 hours tops, which how unrealistic is that? Like, yeah, in 24 hours, I'm going to have the whole thing figured out. Do you think I had the whole thing figured out in 24 hours? No, I didn't. I absolutely didn't. But I did learn a lot really fast by being the one that set things up. I didn't have anyone on my team like go in and set the whole thing up. I wanted to know how it worked. That way I could really be an active participant in it. Do I plan to have someone manage the thing like in the future? Absolutely. Absolutely. There's things from a customer support perspective that could be done way better if I take my hands off of it. But for now, I wanted to understand how the processes worked. That way we could understand how we can best support our customers when they're in there. So one of the challenges I had was just knowledge. Learning curve was steep for me because, again, I thought like my britches were too big and I could figure it out on my own. So I was the problem. Hi, it's me. Like, that was the reason why I was having such a hard time. Big shocker, big surprise. But one of the other things is it was difficult to migrate over. So I couldn't just like import a CSV file of like, well, these are all of our customers and these are all of the people. You need to tag them to this thing. It was a lot more manual to get some of those things set up. I don't know if that's like on their feature roadmap to make that different in the future or if that's just how it is, because I kind of like that you can't just do like a bulk import of a whole bunch of people, because that's how I get on a lot of spam email lists. If I'm being really honest, I will get an email from someone and I'm like, I never signed up for this. How did this happen? And it's typically when people do these summits or they do like really big things, like they just have a really big email list and then they'll just all of a sudden throw you on some other list. And it's like, what happened? I don't know what this is. Who are you? Why are you talking to me? I don't know who you are. Like, can you just at least say, hey, Crystal, do you want to come hang out with me? Like, opt in, check yes or no. But so again, it's like, it's kind of one of those things, like it's good, but then it's bad and it's kind of okay. Like, I'm okay that I can't just import a whole CSV file of every single one of our customers, because people are actually telling me, oh, I want to be a part of this. And that means that my list, like my member list that I have in Mighty Networks, is solid. It doesn't have a bunch of cold members that haven't logged in or signed in. Like, the people that are there want to be there. And that, again, just I'm super, super optimistic. But I want to go back to Cathy. So let's go back to if you're considering moving, right? If you're thinking, I want to move from Kajabi or, Teachable, any other platform over to Mighty Networks, what should you consider? Well, I encourage you to really reflect on why. Like, why would you make this switch? Why does it make sense for you? Is it pricing? I'm really happy with the price point that Mighty Networks offered me. It is cheaper than what I was paying with Kajabi, even though I had a really good discount with Kajabi. I didn't share that earlier. I was grandfathered in with a steep discount on one of their plans. I know it wasn't the lowest paying one. Now I can't even remember which one it was. But yeah, it was like $139 a month. So it wasn't bad. It was not like $200 or $300 for me. Like, it was under $150 a month on Kajabi. But I found a better opportunity with Mighty Networks and I took it. And I'm really excited that I did. So again, this is where I'm standing today. Is I'm really happy about it. So if you're considering it, just ask why. Why are you considering moving? What are going to be the benefits? Are you looking at community building within a digital course or coaching cohort? Or are you going to do live launches? Or are you going to do events? Like, what are you trying to accomplish in the next 12 to 24 months? And then you can probably answer better questions around what it is that you're looking for when it comes to a digital product platform that can really support those initiatives for your community. But I think it's really cool to have the accessibility to just talk to my folks like whenever, wherever. I just got a ping. I heard it. Like I have the notifications turned on my computer while I'm recording this. I'm like, oh, someone pinged us in the community. I heard our little podcasters connect. Like I love it. It makes me so happy hearing that notification. And most of the time, I don't have any notifications turned on my phone, y'all. I don't. It drives me bananas to hear things. But I have my Mighty Networks. It's turned on. It's turned on my phone. And I love it. I love hearing when people are chatting with each other and they're talking and they're sparking up conversations and I'm not even there. So things are happening without me having to constantly go in and check like, oh, like, is that video uploaded? Is that PDF there? Let me add more content. Let me do this. No, I will typically go in and I schedule content for the week and I just watch to see how people interact in the community. Of course, I'll go in and engage when people need me to, but a lot of the time people are in there having conversations without me, and that is so special. And it's what's going to keep my membership, Podcasters Connect, sustainable for me. I cannot wait to see where we are a year from now in this community because I think it's going to continue to get stronger and have deeper relationships with our audience and the community members involved. And I'm super thrilled. I'm super thrilled. So Cathy, if you're trying to have better community engagement, you're trying to streamline your processes, I definitely think you should check it out. So again, I've already told you, and this is not sponsored by Mighty Networks, by the way, but I am a proud affiliate. So you can go to crystalprofit.com/mighty to check them out. And I would love for you to join us in Podcasters Connect. If you're like, well, Crystal, I want to see what this membership is all about. We have a free version. You can join us and come to our next welcome party. We do welcome parties every single month. Then if you want to become a premium member, we do group coaching. We do content audits. We have so much fun. Like, this is the thing. This community revolves around fun, and having these conversations is what's so much fun for me. And it's really the piece that I was missing. I felt like I was so disconnected between, oh, this person over here is paying me to take my course. That's great. It's like I was cheering them on from afar, like, you're doing awesome, great. But here, I'm in direct conversation and I'm like, oh my gosh, you have a question about that? Like, let's talk about it. Let's chat about it. Let's talk about it in real time. Hey, let's actually let's bring this up in our next coaching call and we can talk about this directly because you told me here what your issue is instead of me having to log in to Facebook or someone else to figure it out. So I'm over the moon for it and I cannot wait to see where we go from here. So Cathy, I'm going to tell you should try out Mighty Networks and see what it's all about. I know you're already a Podcasters Connect member, so make sure you go and explore all the different pieces of it and let me know if you have any questions because you can DM me right on the platform. That's the other piece. Just DM me, Cathy, and we'll continue this. But let's recap, all right? So recap why we made the move. We made the move to really simplify and streamline our business processes. And I can tell you, after only a few months, we've already seen a big difference in how we're managing everything. And then the benefits and opportunities with Mighty Networks. We already talked through community. I can't wait to see the gamification things that they're developing. I know that on their roadmap, they have so many fun things and there's so many smart people that work at Mighty Networks. And it's just going to be really fun to see what else they roll out in the future. And then the other thing is tips for anyone switching. Like, if you have questions, comment below if you're watching this on YouTube or reach out on Instagram. Or again, join us in Podcasters Connect. We're going to have a link to it, but it's crystalprofit.com/join. You can join us for free. Okay. You can join us for free and let us know all about your podcasting journey. You can ask me questions about Mighty Networks. I am happy to answer them. But again, go to crystalprofit.com/mighty to learn all about Mighty Networks. But that's all I have for you today. So if this is your first time tuning in, thank you so much for watching and hanging out with us today. Make sure you hit that subscribe or follow button wherever you're watching and listening. And as always, remember, keep it up. We all have to start somewhere. Hey, Profit Podcast listeners. Thanks for sticking around to a little bit after the episode to hear this special message because I want to hear from you. We are starting a new segment called Fan Mail Shoutouts, and I want to hear from you and I want to hear your questions. What do you want to know? What questions have you been dying to ask me? So here's how to make this happen. Go to the app where you're listening to this podcast right now. Go there. I'll wait a second. Okay. Now, once you're there, you're going to see a hyperlink at the top of the episode description that says, send Crystal a text message. And that's all I want you to do. Send me a text. It could be casual, informal. It could be totally anonymous. Or if you want, you can include your name and the name of your podcast or content wherever you are creating, and I will give you a special shout out in an upcoming episode. So again, go to the show notes for where you're listening to this episode right now, and it will say, send Crystal a text message. And I cannot wait to hear from you and give you a shout out in an upcoming segment of Fan Mail Shoutouts.